Hi, welcome back to BZmiatas. I'm pretending I'm filming this before I got the ND Miata, and I'm not. In this episode, we're going to be working back on my 96 Miata Po, and I have some footage from before the ND, from the month or so, 2 months before that. What we're doing today is all the wiring for the car. We're going to do a lot of stuff in this episode. It's all going to be a mess, but I want to get all this footage out there so that I can start fresh again. Then we can move on. I need to go get emissions done about a week ago and get this thing back to driving because I want to drive it. I don't want it to be useless anymore, and I want to show it off a little bit because it's getting to a point where it's slightly impressive and it's all right. Either way, enjoy. All right, to get started here, we have our harness that is just a very small one. This goes back to the main harness. These two are for coil packs, and that's just a ground. But I've drawn up this diagram here so that I know exactly which color goes to which pin. I also have another harness done up that I'll be doing right after this one. But just as the demonstration piece, I figured I'd go with the smallest. Here are the tools I have. We've got some pick key things for removing pins out. An actual pick. I have different color Velcro just because I had access to this, so I might use that to hold things in place. And then I got these just from AutoZone. Hopefully they're good enough quality to after they shrink, they won't just turn into hard plastic. And then I have different widths of this loom, sheathing, whatever you want to call it. The idea here is we will remove all of the connectors so that we have just pins and wires. I believe for this type of connector, this orange piece will come off first, and then we'll be able to go into those little holes right there to remove the pins from there. After all the connectors are off, we'll be able to fit up the correct loom for it. It's probably be used like right there, and then we'll do each end with heat shrink and each junction with heat shrink so that we can jump to a different size of loom. I've set up the best overhead camera I can, so let's switch to that and I'll get to work. I think the camera might have cut out there, but I got all of the connectors off, all the pins out, everything lined up. Next, we're just going to be fitting on our cover. Sheath, loom, harness, I don't remember. Alright, here's our completed coil harness. Took a lot of time. I think this one's too big. those were too small, so they're stretched so you can see the color of the wire inside. Overall, looks nice. Turned out pretty well. So I've got this harness with the fuse box. It's the main battery run and everything. We want to get this inside the cab now and then feed everything else through. Hopefully it can all fit through that hole, but some things that look like they might be difficult. But yeah, it's all retaped, it's all ready to go. So we're going to bring it through right here. Somehow. We've pulled all the way through. I did pull the seal for right here over all of this. Inside our footwell here, we have the fuse box and a little grommet. It's a little torn up now that I had to pull everything through it, but that right there, mount this up however we want. Should be nice and clean and should hardly see anything once it's all tucked away. I'm going to leave the fuse box where it's at for now, just hanging, and we're going to work on getting all of this connected back to where it needs to be and pinned down so that we know how much room we have to play with our fuse box. Alright, so that's our injector harness done, rewrapped. It's not perfect, there's gaps. I don't know if I need to be that choked up on the connectors. Things like this, that's already heat shrunk, but obviously it's not really doing anything other than holding the frayed end of that together. It's not perfect, and these connectors are so old that pieces broke like that. There's only about half of the white piece on there anymore, and one of these wires actually can come a little bit loose, so this might be entirely useless now. I just wanted to get this done and move forward. We can replace it all if we need to with a stock ugly harness again. This is the dash harness. I'm not going to wrap it right now. I'm just going to solder those connections, tape this up, and find out if I have any other exposed wiring. All right, I didn't get done last night, so we just gotta keep working. I need to pull the wires that I pulled through here back a bit and make sure they're all secured away from heat sources like our thermostat housing right here for this wire. Make sure that that never touches while we're driving. And a few things like this are just pulled out too far. They can go back further, especially since I couldn't wrap this one with the sheathing material, so it doesn't look good. And so we want to hide it as much as possible, even though it's on top, which is really unfortunate. All right, that's gonna be all for this one. Really glad with how far we got and look forward to doing more next time. Please like and subscribe. It really helps me out with what I'm trying to do here. All I want is for YouTube to give me a penny one day, and I think I can do that. Let me know what I should do differently. Any comments you have about the way I'm going about it, or any questions about why I did something the way I did it. Everything's appreciated, and I'll see you next time. Bye.